Things are starting to heat up on an all-new episode of W3. Join Big Dog, Andrew Everett, living legend Courtney Rush, and Dino Winwood for an all-new action-packed exciting episode of Dub 3, the best wrestling in the whole wide world.
Welcome to another installment.
See, that's better.
Another installment of W3. We are here with, as I mentioned before, if you're just coming in here now, Dino Winwood right up there, Nexus Omega right in that bottom corner, and Ryan Alcatraz down below. We got a lot to discuss tonight, as I mentioned right before. Legend, you're right here. You're right here.
This is one of the few times they can see me
right
do the
here.
bow.
Right here. Yeah, do your thing. Do your gimmick. Do your gimmick.
I hate you.
It's
Guys,
very
we
fair.
talked about this.
It's very fair. It's very fair. 99.9999 episode here. Kyush and Beast main event.
Splash.
Set to be one of the most memorable matches in W3 history as it's happening on the 100th episode.
Is this our official topic?
This is our
okay.
Let's are we going to go ahead and pop up what we got here? Right there, look at that shit. Look at how pretty that is. That is what we're dealing with in the main event of On the Horizon. Sasori challenging the champion Executioner. Now, I guess Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Ryan Alcatraz, massive Executioner fan. Huge Executioner fan. Nexus Omega.
He's an average size.
Nexus Omega. Beast Sasori repping till the day he dies.
I'm a pretty girthy Beast Sasori fan.
Oh my god. This is a top quality match. Beast Sasori's reign in the past, say the past month, she has cut everyone down in her path on the way to this moment at On the Horizon.
I'm confident in the champion. He is the world champion. But you have to look at the run that Sasori has been on for the past well over a month. I feel like most of 2021, she has laid everybody out that's been put in front of her, including her former tag partner, Black Widow. And not just that, but she's been doing this a variety of ways. Of course, we know the leg drop. We know the Sasori cross lock. She's also got that backpack pile driver that's dirty.
Yes. We've seen her even do that off the top.
But I'm a big fan of the guillotine leg drop, you know. And so her execution, no pun intended, over the past few attempts has been spot on, and it's laid out two of the biggest guys in the company. So, you know, as much as I believe that Executioner can retain, Sasori is definitely on the come up. So it's a big challenge because let's face it, Executioner's is his second run as Dub 3 World Champion, and he has yet to defend the title successfully.
That's
so
very, very true.
That's something that we're going to need to keep an eye on for sure once we get to that point Saturday night.
When they faced off a couple weeks ago, Beast got completely humbled. That rise that she had up until that point, she bled more than anyone I've seen bleed.
Yep.
Was 0.1 second away from beating Kyush, but Kyush ended up picking up the victory. That was a wake-up call for her. That was a wake-up call for me, for any Beast Sasori fan. Executioner is the world heavyweight champion. He had such a journey to that top, having to break through the Great Wall of Wu-Fang to do it. Having to defeat Joe twice, 3 times, actually, to win the title, lose it, then win the title back. I would love to see Beast Sasori win the title on Saturday, and I'm going to hope that she does. But Executioner is just... I mean, we saw what happened in the triple threat. It might have looked like she might have taken them both out, but that was because Radiator and Beast did a number on Executioner before that happened.
Good God.
Oh my God. They knew they needed to get rid of the champ, and then it was going to be between one of them. It was a smart move. So to answer your question, I hope Beast is ready, but I also know that she's ready. But I will not be surprised if Executioner does retain.
This is... I couldn't think of a more greater point in our history for this to be the main event of our 100th episode. Kyush, who is a man who's been there pretty much since the beginning of it, and we've seen that climb. Beast debuting later on and just surprising everybody with her rise to the top in the Great American Thrash. Mm-hmm. That's when she started to thrive more. People were just like, holy shit, like, she is something that we need to focus on. She is something that has definitely demanded our attention, and we're going to give it to her. And continuously as that, whether it be in eliminators, whether it be in tag team title matches.
Former tag team champion.
Exactly, a former tag team champion with one of the craziest fuckers on this roster.
For real, though.
Yeah, she's out there, man. She's got her own problems to worry about. But.
And I love Tablesaw, but Black Widow is the craziest person on this entire fucking roster. When you get a fucking Munchausen
there should
belt,
be like a belt for that.
Right? Like, she's insane. And yet Beast was able to work with her as a unit to get tag team title gold and to get the love and appreciation, not just of the fans, but of the commentary table. When we would see her on the card, we knew that we were going to get something. And even after that split, we knew that we were going to get something with Beast. And now, as she's continuously done, nonstop, proven herself more and more as a viable and a worthy and damn near almost destined, not even contender, but a champion. That is a champion that we're looking at. And so I feel like me as a person who is a fan of the cinematic, who's a fan of not even so much as an underdog story, but somebody who has seen a person grow and grow more and more in this picture, in this sport. I feel everything in me that Beast is destined to be the Dub 3 champion, to represent this company, because you take this little idea and it just grows more and more and more. The appreciation, the love, the drive, the work put into it. What better representation for Dub 3? Not to discount anything that Kyush has done. We know what Kyush is capable of. We've seen what he's gone through. But there's just a little more to it with Beast. And that is what is making me excited for this main event. That is what has me rooting for her. I mean, I want a good match. I could flip the coin right now. I'm not going to do it. Because
you keep that off camera. You keep that.
But I want a match to where, whether if it be a submission, whether if it be a fucking critical, whether if it be a 3 count, to where you will hear the entire arena and this commentary table just go, fuck.
That long breath, that exhale.
Let it out. So Beast is my pick.
I mean, he used the word destiny in talking about her just being absolute destined for greatness here. And it's really hard to argue. She is on the cusp of the World Championship this coming Saturday. Legend?
On the cusp of the World Championship. Destined for greatness. Okay, that's in the future. There is the champion and already at greatness. And that is Executioner right now. And I think Beast, yes, that seed is growing, that idea is growing, like Dino said, but it's going to have to grow a little bit longer, because right now there is way more for Kyush to lose. And I touched on this in the Discord last week, that his trajectory and Wu-Fang's trajectory are forever interlocked. I'm sorry.
She's into it?
Shaking my
This is what we need. This is what we need right here.
Kyush right now is here. When a year ago, he was here. Literally at the bottom of the heavyweight division. At Wu-Fang's hands.
Disposing of him to the bottom.
Now, he's the champion. Wu, for the first time, is not in the top 5. Their destinies have switched. Their trajectories have completely interchanged. And you can't believe for a second that Executioner is not a little bit smug. The fact that now he's on top. And he finally beat him on his way up to the top.
You're right. Yeah, I mean...
Now with Wu
that was a different Wu-Fang.
But now with Wu breaking away from Steel Talon and everyone has all the eyes on him and there's all this controversy of...
Is that going to be
what's the main event?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You think Kyush doesn't have more to prove on Saturday?
A great mystery still, because while I am not as familiar with Akane Komodo's wrestling career, I do know people that speak of her incredibly highly and saying that she is, without question, one of the most dangerous competitors in professional wrestling today. And people are worried for Black Widow because of that reason, that stated reason that Akane is that mystery that Black Widow maybe wasn't fully prepared for. She knows her. They have a history together. I'm not entirely sure on how deep that history runs, but Akane Komodo is a great wild card in this match. We don't know what she's going to bring. I have a feeling it's going
It's probably a sword.
How can you prepare for someone like Akane Komodo, given that we haven't seen her in W3 yet? I mean, technically, this is her debut match in W3. And I'm pretty sure these two have faced off multiple times in the past in various territories. But I don't know off the top of my head what the records were, or how it was, if they split, whatever series of matches they may have had. But what I do know is this: Akane Komodo is dangerous.
Yes.
And there's something that is not right going on there, as far as just obviously her. How can we forget that she took out the Chee Dynasty
without being seen
3/5
somehow?
Without being seen.
I know that.
Exactly. So there's no telling what she has prepared for Black Widow, but I'll give credit where credit's due. It is Black Widow. And at one point in time, I know that there were a few people in the Dub3 community last year who considered her to be one of the best in the company. So she's got it there, and she's another one of these competitors that needs to wake up and really show what their true potential can be. But I got to go Komodo. I really do. I think Komodo is going to come out and impress us for one.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to end up getting the victory Saturday.
Yeah. For those who aren't familiar with Akane Komodo, what I can tell you is that this is a woman that will hurt herself to make sure you are hurt just a little bit more. Even at the expense of hurting herself and injuring herself and putting herself on the shelf, she just wants to hurt you. We've seen her use the katana. She is not out to cut off limbs. That's crazy. She's here to
Stab.
She's here to stab and punish and cut up your skin.
Yeah.
You've seen the scars on Bolt. They're still there.
They're kind of badass.
They are very badass.
He's going to remember those.
Oh, yes. I'm sure he'll thank her for that one.
Sure he will.
I mean, Ryan mentioned, Black Widow needing to wake up. Well, what's interesting is she's been on a tear since Beast essentially broke up the team. She's been unbeaten. She's beaten Hannibal.
She's beaten Hannibal.
Yeah.
We can't forget that.
Hannibal, that's right.
She's beaten Hannibal. she beat another ghost from her past, no pun intended, in Mononoke.
Mononoke,
Yes.
that's right.
So-
Okay.
I mean, Hannibal's a ghost from her past too. He took the junior heavyweight championship.
Yeah, it all
Exactly. So this is a very big test for Black Widow.
Oh no, there's brains everywhere, Dino. Dino, no!
Oh no! Oh no! I didn't use any math. I'm sorry, dude.
You got brains all over me. Oh man.
So with all that being said, before I pass it on to
Zombie
future Akane victim, Dino, I'm gonna go with Black Widow here because I feel like regardless of how this match goes, it's not over. Regardless of who wins this match, it's not over.
Yeah.
Akane,
I agree with that. I agree.
Akane, if she gets the win, she's not going to be done playing with Widow. If Widow gets the win, for sure Akane's not done playing with her. This is just about two women beating the shit out of each other. And I can't wait to see it. And I'm going to go with Black Widow, really. I love Akane Komodo. I don't know this Akane Komodo, but I'm going with Widow, and I hope I'm right.
Yes, based on the history that Nexus has provided, we're gonna get exactly what he said. They're gonna beat the bejesus out of each other. In this particular case, Widow will be able to punch ectoplasm, or is she human form now? I'm still stuck on this ghost thing. It's really freaking me out.
It's okay.
It's tangible.
You don't have to worry about it. She's not going to be there.
It's fully manifested.
I don't know. Yeah, she has manifested. You're all right. With a fucking sword.
But no, Widow, yeah, she's definitely defeated a lot of ghosts from her past, whether they've broken her mind, broken her body, it doesn't really matter, because she always finds a way to get the victory and to do her nice little disrespectful taunt right after, just completely laughing at her opponents and just laying on her side like a fucking cool kid on a 90s movie poster and giving her a salute. And so, like, we know what we know what Widow is capable of, to quote one of my favorite poets. But I don't know, man. It's just I don't know enough about her opponent, because it's still fresh to me. When she came into this company, I'm like, okay, let's pay attention to it. But now that we're getting this clash, this history, this whole story just unfolding before us, I have a feeling that we're gonna see something in Widow that we've never seen before. I have a feeling that we're gonna see the true Widow that night. Not just the psychopath that we've known that made a fake belt and everything else. Not the egotistical. Not the person who straight up broke up a fucking great friendship just because she just wasn't really feeling it anymore. Or whatever her fucking intentions were. We're gonna see the true Black Widow in this matchup. And frankly, I'm scared shitless.
I think we definitely. I mean, I hope this is a Widow that we haven't seen before, because quite frankly, if Widow's ever had a hitman after her before, these are scoops I need to find out. Because we're neglecting one major point here, is that, yeah, you guys have seen Akane Komodo versus Black Widow before in the past in other companies, but this Akane Komodo is being paid to go after Black Widow.
It's a hired gun, and I think we know.
Which means she was paid to go after the Chee Dynasty. Which means she was paid to go after Mega Meat.
A deplorable action if I've ever heard one.
And Wu-Fang basically called him out on it. And he was talking about using deplorables as weapons against other deplorables. So there's a whole subplot going on here. And so what it really comes down to then is the money enough incentive for Komodo, or is it the money combined with their past? Is that now enough incentive to overcome whatever Widow's gonna fight back with? Because she's got somebody who, if it's not personal, usually you can like appeal to emotions.
Yes.
in a personal. If it's simply monetary, if Akane Komodo is that cold and calculated and less fucks than even Widow gives about anyone, that she's just doing it for money, I don't see Widow coming out on top of this.
See, I was wondering if you were going to go the opposite way, you're saying that maybe that past gets in the way of an Akane Komodo victory.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take.
If
That's
she
an
holds on
interesting
to the
take.
past.
I believe it's time for us to go through some of the questions that the Dub 3 faithful have been sending us in our Discord. If you have not joined that Hub 3 Discord yet, I'm sure Jeremy is getting the link ready right now.
They're down there.
So the first question is from Matitudinal, and he asks, this is a behind-the-scenes question. When there's a big high-profile match with a cutscene afterwards, such as Yoraki when he won the junior heavyweight title, did you prepare two separate cutscenes depending on the result of said match?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't mean to send that. Yeah, I made two videos.
I'll see if I have them to pull up. Hang on.
Oh my God.
There's one you guys never saw. It
Yeah.
still ends the same way with the unknown on the screen saying, "Hey, I'm gonna challenge you." Some of the dialogue was different, but yeah, I made two different videos. One with Yoraki standing over Dragoon, which is what happened, and the other was Dragoon standing over Yoraki.
Was it graphic violence?
Nexus really, some of the videos and the quality is getting better and better. You can see that we're getting comfortable in every regards to W3 leading up to 100. We're growing and we're not going to stop growing. And just the fact that, like, Nexus in a group chat sent us some of the first sort of promos that we did, and just the road from beginning to right now is just astronomical. The graphics that we have for this one coming up, the poster that's on the side of the side of the screen right there, incredible. And yes, we do have things that you don't get to see. I believe on two separate occasions. We definitely didn't. What's the word I'm looking for? We didn't want to take the chance of something going a different way.
There was one. What was it that we made the call on the fly not to play the pre-tape
Yeah.
because it didn't work anymore?
Yeah, that's
what
the
happened?
thing. We don't.
What was that?
We let the Fire Pro gods decide this shit.
I don't remember what
It was
but we
something
did
with
delay it.
Kimchi and Executioner.
The Fire Pro
Yeah.
gods, man. They have given us so much things to go on to where we can just roll with the punches as we try to tell these stories that we do get to tell and bring to you guys. At the end of the day, we are at mercy.
Which actually brings me to another question.
Yeah.
Jay Dellable asked, is there a moment where the Fire Pro gods blessed you the most by putting something into motion just
Hannibal.
perfectly?
Hannibal.
And on the flip side, is there a moment where the Fire Pro gods undercut something you had hoped to set up in a devastating fashion? Hannibal!
Hannibal, yes. Okay.
Bolt.
Bolt
Every
Jameson.
fucking Bolt Jameson match.
Bolt Jameson for that second one. Bolt Jameson.
Man.
But holy shit. The first proper meeting of Wu-Fang and Hannibal,
Oh my god.
where we like Hannibal has to manage to stay strong, because I see numbers now. I'm at to the point where I see percentages. I see into the matrix of Fire Pro and their tendencies and all that shit. You're still left up to the Fire Pro gods because Bukowski was beating people in the Extreme Timboy challenges when he was a 30 overall, beating people at 245. That shit was just happening.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
So the Fire Pro gods, we there is never
us
go. We're
cheering
never
was,
going
like,
to
legit.
with mods now. We could hit a button and make sure that person wins. We refuse to do that for matches. We don't fucking do that. So Hannibal, getting back to that, Hannibal, we needed him to take a loss to Wu-Fang, but we needed him to stay strong. So
We needed him to not die.
and also we had a pre-tape for it with Hannibal on the outside of the ring, and lo and behold, the Fire Pro gods have a Peridot fusion right at the ropes where it KOs him, and he bounces to the exact spot that the fucking promo is set. And obviously we don't have a face cam when we're rolling Fire Pro, and I did one of these.
Which he also does
Regularly.
many times a show for opposite reasons, not happy reasons.
I had to take a lap. Because the chances of that happening, the percentages of that happening has to be so minute. And it just happened. So that's when I knew that was kind of the official, okay, we're cooking with absolute fire. And thank the Fire Pro. Thank you, the Fire Pro.
Yep. We got a question from our ho Jeremy.
What
The
up,
Ultimate
ho?
Survival Tournament. The Ultimate Survival Tournament was such a unique concept. Where did the idea come from, Drew?
I was watching some really bad early WCW.
That doesn't exist.
Yes,
That
it does.
doesn't
No,
exist.
it's all
No, it's
amazing.
beautiful. But oh man, and I was watching a Battle Bowl. I want to say it was where they randomly draw the tag teams, and I remember as a kid I thought that it would go all the way to a tournament and then the final two had to wrestle. Battle Bowl was not that at all. It was just the first round, if I'm not mistaken, was randomly done, and then there was a battle royal and then the last two or whatever. I was like, well, let's make a tag tournament of that happen, of just randomly drawn, and then the final two competitors that win a tag team tournament have to face each other. That was like my fucking child. I stressed so much about Ultimate Survival because it had a special place in my heart, because if you guys don't know, my dad was a promoter for 20 years, and Ryan knows about this. Ryan was there. And one of the shows that was a kind of a traditional Survivor Series matchup, and also a Cibernetico, the kind of the luchador version of a Survivor Series style matchup, was Ultimate Survivor. And I asked Dad, I was like, hey, if I named a card Ultimate Survival, and he's like, I'm gonna name it Ultimate Survivor. I don't care. Do it. And I was like, I still want it to be mine. But yeah, it had a lot near and dear to me. I love tag team wrestling more than anything in the world. I think tag team wrestling is the best wrestling as far as I'm concerned. And holy shit, the guys put on a show. And you can't even write that shit. Tommy gets injured. Major Tom gets injured. Unknown, not in the tournament, is his placeholder and wins it. This is another instinct of the Fire Pro gods giving us something, and us just going, well, we gotta roll with this. There's no way that we can't, because it's too good of a fucking story. That's happened twice now.
Well, if you don't, you'll be punished.
Oh yeah,
if the gods want to see something, you have to give it to them.
That match was incredible.
And speaking of the gods,
It was so good.
This actually leads to another question. This one is by Saberhawk, who asks, do you have any particular prayers or rituals to garner the favor of, or perhaps the wrath of the Fire Pro gods? If so, have they worked, or are their ways simply beyond mortal ability to change, mysterious, and inscrutable?
So the gods really appreciate the stupid comedy storylines.
Fuck, they do. Oh,
So whenever
God.
they do something weird with someone, we're like, okay, I guess that's our next comedy story. So now we have Barricade.
Yeah, like, God damn it.
But
Him just,
yeah, you just have to listen to them, and then they give you good shit like Wu-Fang and Hannibal.
That's why everything feels organic in W3.
Wu-Fang doing the best business of any wrestler of all time.
Yeah. Like, are you fucking serious? Like,
Yeah.
none of that is by our personal design. We're like, okay, it'd be
No.
really nice if this goes this way, and then somehow it just 9 times out of 10 works out for us. Maybe I have the little bit of percentages. Like I said, I'm seeing the Matrix. That might help some of the matches, but there's still these random instincts that just kick in that you cannot change or control, and we have to roll with those punches regardless. And I love that. I love that we can stay true to that.
Jumga or Yumga, whatever you prefer, Jumge.
Jumji
You're
Tekka?
awesome in Discord.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jumji, whatever I'll call him. Jumji. He asks, how do you decide names for 100% original characters?
It's usually stupid. As you see some of the jobbers, yes, let's just go ahead and just peel the things back. Those guys are meant to lose. Some of the jobbers is some of the stupidest fucking names. Gerald Kicks being Jerry
Motherfucking
Flynn
ass.
is hilarious. We had a horseshoe ripoff because ain't no business like shoe business, baby. Luther Reigns had peas before, but he was Horseshoe in WCW, and I had Bull Cleat, which was a fucking terrible name. and it was last minute that she said,
I just got that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was the worst name to ever exist. Oh, dude, you have no fucking clue. So she just said hand grenade, and then one of them, because they're the damn Hans twins, one of my least favorite characters.
No, come on.
And it was one of them that said Hans grenade, and I was like, well, that's a lot better than I've ever come up with. So you're kind of getting into what we go there. Some of the more serious characters like Mononoke and Akane Komodo, for instance. Those we put thought into. We were searching. Akane Komodo was workshopped for a week. We were coming back with certain things, but Akane Komodo seemed like a nice name. It rolls off the tongue. It sounds vicious. Sounds poisonous. As you know, we have Beast Sasori, which, if I'm not mistaken, Sasori is Scorpion in Japanese. Black Widow. She's an old school from WCW and NWO World Tour. So we were kind of staying on that line. Akane Komodo was awesome. We have, I've thought of several people that are so far off in the distance that are such stupid names that I'm sure are going to get workshopped. But yeah, a lot of it we can still directly take from the Aki and Sin Sophia games. Virtual Pro, man. Those games that were the Japanese release of WCW World Tour and WCW NWO Revenge and the PS1 WCW versus the World. The Japanese versions, the Virtual Pros, we got absolutely ripped off. The Japanese versions are so much better. The rosters are insanely deep, and we're trying to stick in that era of that like mid 90s to late 90s. That's some of the best wrestling, in my opinion, in the world. The stuff that was coming out of Japan.
Oh yeah.
So we have a deep roster to pluck from, but the originals, we try to add a little funny in it, a little ha-ha. We try to stay serious of what that character is in real life, that we can kind of
Insinuate.
Yes, insinuate. Dave Karolinko is one of my favorite names. I love Dave
really caught me
Karolinko.
by surprise. I was like, "Holy shit! I never would have thought
Well,
anything for Dean Malenko."
I'm Utah Jazz, Andre Karolinko. That was my
Well, yeah, just ignore that
you know,
part.
AK-47.
But then, like, Prickly Pete was a Dino creation.
Yes, Prickly Pete was Dino.
Yeah, that was going to be. I wanted to pitch it to Kendrick for his wrestling promotion. I wanted to do a Mick Foley gimmick called Prickly Pete, and you start doing the particular promos. I start getting louder, and then I'm like, what would be a legally safe version of Bang Bang? So originally, Prickly Pete did a machine gun noise in the style of Mick Foley's hitting noises. So, that was the original Prickly Pete noise.
Oh shit!
And yeah, like down the road, we settled on Pow Pow Pow. I'm like, okay, that's much better because it's just fucking silly when I do the machine gun noise. But like when I remember telling you guys about that one and Mega Meat, seeing your hearing your reactions and everything. It was really fucking great because I'm like, okay, cool. Like, they
we're keeping that
one. Ridiculous. Yeah. So that's why, like, when we brought in Prickly Pete and everything and Meat and stuff, I'm just like, dude, this is excellent. And seeing the reactions of our lovely community, it's really heartwarming because, like, these were just ideas that I had in my head, like, either as out of boredom. I'm like, because like boredom is, say what you will about boredom. Boredom helps you think of
Find something, just something.
Ridiculous things in the world.
It makes things happen.
Which roster debut were you guys most excited for? And Ryan, you can answer this one too.
Tablesaw Tommy.
Yeah, dude, Tablesaw fucking ruled.
That was so good.
And it was so far in advance when I was it me that said something about Tablesaw? Like, oh no, because like I was watching a goddamn Chainsaw Charlie match. And I was
like teased him back in June.
I know. I know.
That was why it was so great. It was a Christmas present.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was like, dude, Tablesaw Tommy. Like, we have to have Chainsaw Charlie in W3 in some aspect. And yeah.
And he's been great.
Yeah, he's been fucking excellent.
You can't get past him. He just takes your knee.
Some of my favorites. I really am digging Black Jaguar a lot.
Yeah.
And because again, the Flyers, I was always, that's what I grew up on in WCW. So guys like Eddie and guys like Ray for Pajaro, I have that special connection where it's like, okay, these are the guys that I remember watching. I was like, this is what I want to be. I wanted to be 7'4", and then I accomplished that. But I also wanted to flip like these guys, and I have that special connection. So Black Jaguar probably for me is like a sneaky, okay, this is one of my favorite guys, and I'm so glad we got to put him in the game. So glad we got to put him in the game. Is Tom?
You fuck. Tommy Lads.
Tommy Lads, yep, okay.
I was very happy. And Constantine.
Constantine's been, I mean, he's
I'm so pumped about how he's done.
Yeah. Dino, you've had several that...
I've had several that I've been really excited for. I mean, when we brought in Pete at that time, I was really happy about it. Most recently, I would say Boomer and Radiator.
Dude. And Radiator is not an original. His name is the Radiator in Virtual Pro.
So when you told me that we were going to bring him in, I'm like, oh fuck yes, thank God, it's so perfect. and same with Boomer, like it's, to me, because they were just Vader and Awesome were very important in my education of when I was a student. And I'm just like, fuck, man, like they were really a part of the 90s scene overseas and in the States and stuff. And so when I was just counting down to every show, like, okay, when are we going to debut? Like, okay, it's at the pay-per-view, or it's going to be before. Or, like, I'm just like, when are we going to do it? Because, like, I'm itching here. I'm fiending, and I need to see this. And those were the most recent ones. But, yeah, Pete was the first one because I'm just like, holy shit, it's brought to life. Like, I get to call this crazy son of a bitch with my friends, and he's probably going to he'll either be loved or hate after this because he's going to take on Brick. So
I love Pete.
And he was untouched. He was just too adorable. Yeah.
Nexus, are you gonna say Akane Komodo?
I am. So it actually happened. I mean,
it's 100
guys.
But let him talk about how long he had that fucking debut ready for.
Okay,
Go.
okay. When we did the panel show back in November, I remember Ryan was in the chat with us, and Drew had just recently shown us that he had started working on Akane at the time, Hokuto.
Right. Yeah.
So I got really excited, and I had a little bit of downtime, which is for me like a day. So I spent that day making a teaser for her debut, which was so lighthearted. I might post it one day. It was totally different than the one you guys saw. It had the picture stabbing, but it wasn't the Chee Dynasty. It wasn't me. It was just the junior heavyweight division. And I just kept watching this teaser over and over again. I'm like, man, I was just riding high off the Black Jaguar teasers with the roar.
God,
and the
it
jungle
was so simple
and
but so perfect.
yeah,
And I was like, oh man, I can't wait to start doing
See, if
this.
you
But
want me
then-
to pull any of these old videos that we reference up, just let me know.
We can post them in
Yeah.
Hub 3 after too.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I won't babble too much. But I mean, you guys have seen how long we've been teasing this. It's now, she's gonna debut May 1st.
Yep.
So this has been a really
Long-term booking,
And once
man.
we got like the go ahead on that, which was basically, I was like, listen, I just want to like get everyone attacked, and then it'll
Yeah.
be this character that you want, okay?
Meanwhile, we had Yoshi and Hikaru and like all these people just debuted within like a week. And I was like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Like I'm so excited for this. Like I was still very excited for Hikaru. Like I was so excited for a lot of debuts. But yeah, for sure, come Saturday, it'll definitely be Akane's debut against Blood.
I really have liked the killer instinct that really has come out of Shaolin. He has kind of tapped into what we always knew what he could be. He is a former champion in tag team division as well, and now a champion in two different divisions. Now with the extreme division title. He really is the real deal, and for a while there, he kind of took a step back after losing the tag team titles when him and Hanzo Man were the first ever tag team champions in a tournament that they again filled in for. We've seen this time and time again now. Yeah. Shaolin is at the top of his game, but Tablesaw Tommy out for ligaments. He wants that knee, and more often than not, Tablesaw Tommy gets what he comes for. He leaves with a trophy. So I think Tablesaw is going to be the first ever two-time Extreme Division champion. I'm pretty confident about that. Shaolin's been amazing, but I got to go with Tommy here. Ryan Alcatraz, your thoughts?
I like the fact that both of these guys are completely unhinged. Tablesaw Tommy kind of wears it on his sleeve, whereas Shaolin, I feel like until he starts pulling shit out from under the ring, that's when competitors need to really start worrying and thinking about how they're going about the rest of the match. If he starts just pulling whatever out. But, Tablesaw Tommy, guys, he's a former Dub 3 world champion, okay? That's often forgotten. I wrote about this a couple weeks ago in trying to figure out who's at the top of the Dub 3. You cannot keep Tablesaw Tommy, Major Tom, whatever, out of the talks for that, as my cat is ripping at the cords over here. But
technical difficulties.
Yeah, but I think I have to go with Tablesaw Tommy just over track record. But I could definitely see Shaolin losing it and making things very interesting.
He gets violent quick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I missed the first time these two went at it. I didn't see it live. Well, okay, we're gonna get to that later. The Extreme Division and me are just not getting along.
Not working.
Yeah.
Those are the gods plucking with you.
Yeah, seriously, thanks, guys. Yeah, I couldn't believe Shaolin won the title. I went back and watched the show, and I couldn't believe. I was hoping, but he is not the person you'd think would be holding that Extreme Division title. He's a man of peace. He is a man of inner anger, as we found out.
God. And it just unleashes.
Yeah, and you know what, though? He's had a little bit of time off, which is good. We don't want to kill our competitors.
Especially in that Extreme Division.
Giving them... especially in that Extreme Division. Tommy's last match, I believe, was against Bad Blood?
Yep.
Okay, and that was it. So they're both coming into this match as fresh as they possibly can be. And I believe heading into that No Man's Land match, I think Tommy might have had some wars before that match. So if they're both at 100%, as much as I'd like to think that Shaolin can defend that title, a happy and not so much in pain Tablesaw Tommy is probably the most dangerous person on our roster. And we talk about Radiator and throats, but boy, if you got legs, Tablesaw is going to take them.
Yeah.
That man was the face of this company. He let people know that he is the representative of Dub 3, that no matter what your age is, you're never too old to be batshit crazy. And he has taken the legs of some of the biggest threats here in Dub 3.
Almost all
He
of them.
has taken some of the biggest hits. He damn near crippled a man in a defense, in a cage. Like, sorry to bring from that wound. That's just part of the history. That luckily, Pudgeteka is back. He's wiggling his toes. His hair looks fucking babu.
Fantastic.
But let's get back to the point here. Tablesaw Tommy, I feel like he is damn near naked without a belt around him, especially with this Extreme Division. And I feel that, yes, the silent suffering of Shaolin that he brings into the matches, that stains his white pants with the blood of his enemies and even his own blood, will scare any regular opponent, will intimidate them, will give them just a seedling of doubt. But Tablesaw Tommy just says, that's real fucking cute. You want to see my best duds? And then completely just brings out the most crimson-covered, copper-smelling gear to strap on and go into that ring and say, I need a fresh coat. Take your leg. And he's going to take that leg of Shaolin to where, yes, I feel that he will be doing the prayer for forgiveness, but to forgive himself for thinking that Tablesaw Tommy is not going to walk out of the 100 with the championship.
Because Shaolin definitely, as Nexus said, surprised him and surprised a lot of people by winning the Extreme Division Championship and becoming our second champion in that division. And he's experiencing a bit of a resurgence right now in his career. Like you said, kind of falling off after losing the tag team championships with Hans Oman and really finding himself in this brand new, this fledgling Extreme Division. However, Tablesaw Tommy's on about his third, fourth, fifth career resurgence by now.
I mean, come on, the guy's retired.
He's an old hand at this.
I swear he's retired in W3. I'm just not sure.
And something that Nexus also said is that he's rested this time, and that's definitely was a factor in their first meeting. He came off the Bleeding Hearts tournament. He and Pete did the Extreme Showcase on graphic violence. A rematch, a war with Pudgeteka in the cage. Of course he was beat up. Of course he wasn't 100%.
He lives that way.
He's not going to make excuses losing, like that's the only reason he lost to Shaolin. Not a chance. But they're both coming in much more rested than Tommy was that first time. So this is going to be a bit more even. And I think it's going to be a bit more competitive. I'm not saying Shaolin won't retain, but Tommy has been making sure nobody got between him and that number one contendership.
No, he's there.
So I think he's trying to make a point that he's not done being that champion.
He put it in park. He put it in park. Here we go. Look at these beautiful title graphics we got here. It's just incredible. We will link the creator of it. It's just incredible. Full Metal, thank you very, very much for that beautiful junior heavyweight championship right there. Black Jaguar. This is a cat on. This is as we were just talking about Black Jaguar's. Just he has taken the junior heavyweight just division by storm. He has made his presence known immediately. That twisting frog splash puts so much torque coming down onto his opponent's ribcage. It takes every single bit of breath out of your lungs, and if you do manage to kick out of it, it is only a matter of time because you cannot breathe. Your tank is on empty. I mean, Black Jaguar, he's one of my favorite competitors to watch in W3. Constantine has made his presence felt time and time again. It looked like somebody who sputtered out way too soon. He ended the 2020 year in terrible fashion. I forget his record, but every single time this man has found himself in a multi-man situation, he shines through. The cat's cradle, if you get caught in it more than once, more than twice, about that third time, you're going to give up. He's going to snap you in half if you don't. And we've seen him hold on to it. He's an asshole. But he is the junior heavyweight champion out of seemingly nowhere. I gotta say, the guy he's made a name for himself. But I don't know. This one's interesting. Black Jaguar, my heart's telling me to go with Black Jaguar here. I think he's going to avoid the cat's cradle. The flexibility is going to come in handy here, and I think Constantine is going to be right back in that number one contender's position after Black Jaguar takes the junior heavyweight championship.
Troy Constantine's finally made the junior division his. After all this time, he worked his way up the ladder of the top 5, and he defeated Aztec Dragoon, who, up until that victory, Dragoon had Troy's number every single time they faced off. In different scenarios, tag matches, singles matches, what have you.
It was wild.
But Troy Constantine, I feel, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, he is one of the junior competitors that has gotten more of a look over the entire division, kind of based on his eliminator appearances. But also, I feel like Troy Constantine has wrestled just about everyone in the junior division.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it took him a while to get to where he is now after experiencing all these different styles that you see in such just a tremendous division. But Black Jaguar, since he showed up, pretty much hasn't stopped. I think he may have slipped once or twice.
Yes.
But for the most part, Black Jaguar has impressed every single time out. This is a match that I think I tend to agree with you, Big Dog. I think that Black Jaguar's rise will culminate in episode 100, and Troy Constantine will once again be sitting in that number one spot. And, where they go from there, who knows?
A vengeful Dragoon might be watching this match, but I'd be a little bit more concerned about who's on his ass. Is Yuraki, who will also be watching this match. So, good for those two. Black Jaguar, regardless of my comments in the past about me being only a one cat guy, which is true, he's been unbelievable. I can't really see him losing to Troy. I can't. I'm a one cat guy. He is goddamn a legend. He is he's my I'm gonna drink the purple stuff. I've been doing it. He's been winning. He's been winning every time I've done it.
You idiot!
Wow.
He lost the triple threat. at No Man's Land. He tapped to the cat's cradle in that triple threat. I wasn't there to drink that purple stuff. I'm gonna drink a tub, a jar, just hook that
You're
shit
gonna be a
into my veins.
blueberry.
You know what? If that results in my favorite kitty with gold around his waist, then I have done my job, and he is welcome. I'm going with Black Jaguar for sure.
The guy is the champion for a reason. He's taken on 3 people against him because let's face it, if you're in the ring with Troy Constantine in an eliminator, you're gonna say, I want this asshole out first. Let's beat the shit out of him first. And he has managed to avoid that on numerous occasions to many great chagrins. And the fact that he is wearing the Dub 3 championship, and in this opportunity, Black Jaguar, who has been... I'm trying not to do a cat pun.
Do it, Dino. Do
He's
it.
been scratching up the post. And don't touch me. So to where this opportunity has presented itself, and you know, I can see it. It's not far-fetched to imagine him with the title and purple stuff just, you know, spraying everywhere out of pure celebration. However, yes, you have stated the other two in the picture, whether it be a vengeful dragoon, whether it be a killer cyborg, because let's face it, Uraki is a robot.
Yes.
300% sure that he was just taken and reprogrammed by Talon, and he is a freaking android, a cyborg, everything that is completely artificial intelligence, and has been turned into this killing machine. However, with all that being said, I honestly feel that Troy Constantine is the favorite to win on this one. He's proven enough to it, and yes, I've avoided the phones on the times.
Oh my God.
I've thrown the phone against the wall. I don't even go into the office anymore because of it. But I feel, and I hope, and I pray that he walks out of there with a successful defense, because I don't want to hear it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. If he loses the title, holy shit, the call center.
I'm not working that night. People all against Troy Constantine, our junior heavyweight champion.
You're going with no, hold on. You're going with Constantine
yeah,
as well?
damn right I am.
Get out of town.
He caught me off guard when he won that junior heavyweight title, big dog. He's been playing possum. He had it figured out.
Opossum, yes.
And when he made sure, when he got that championship match scheduled, pulled the trigger. He has not ever beaten Aztec Dragoon. Ever. All of a sudden he figures it out for the title?
He's had a lot of practice.
Than anyone gives him credit for. And I think he already knows how to defeat Black Jaguar.
I mean, you bring up a really good point that he's had the practice. He's really had the practice.
That's what Alcatraz was talking about, that he's literally worked everyone on the roster.
He's gotten
and the junior
a
heavyweight
broad
division
view.
is the most competitive.
Yeah.
That top 5 switches so often.
Well,
way more than the heavyweight.
As everyone here said, and as I am sure that you are very well aware, Uraki is also sitting in that
Very well
contendership. He's an android. He is
You know what?
Talon's lapdog, and
You know
that
what?
lapdog can put you gone.
So is Abispa. And he likes to put people out too.
You're right. You're right. So you're going Constantine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was thinking Black Jaguar was going to be a clean sweep here, but clearly Constantine does
Not my
have
cat.
tricks up his sleeve. Well, he doesn't wear any sleeves out here, but great little cutoff he had on this past week. But all right. Ryan pointed out something before the show. Let's go ahead and talk about it now. Ryan pointed out something before the show. He's like, is this going to be the main event? And you know what? Any other time, I think so. I think that it would be the main event. The only thing is we have that main event that's just so all-encompassing of such good stories. But this right here, this match, is just as good of a story. It just doesn't have the title. But these are the two, in my opinion, these are two of my favorites. These are two of my guys right here, and the fact that we were able to work around back to it in just perfect timing for 100, everything just matches up perfectly. Like, Yeah, this is a double fucking main event. This is like this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the pride of W3 right here taking on somebody stepping up in the tradition, somebody that has lost here recently to Beast Sasori in a fashion that some are saying a little embarrassing. Joe lost to Beast Sasori in such a fashion. Wu's kicked out of the top 5, first time ever in history. This is the perfect time to have this third meeting. Who's winning it, though? Are we going to see the Wu-Fang of old? Joe's had his number, so maybe the Wu-Fang of old isn't enough to beat the Ulaanbaatar usurper. Or is Wu-Fang going to have more? Are we going to see the best wrestler in the world that we once saw and knew that he could be and can be tonight? Excuse me, Saturday night.
I don't know what striking did for Wu-Fang yet. We haven't seen like what it did for him. Was it relief? Was it a euphoric moment for him for at least a split second until he took that spinning hook kick to the jaw from Uraki?
Yeah, that was.
I don't know yet. Therefore, I don't know where Wu's going to be in this match. But guys, this is Sumo Jo versus Wu-Fang. Okay? 2 of the top competitors in the history of Dub 3 for the past 98 episodes. Both of those guys have proven as maybe the 2 most formidable opponents to any other competitor in Dub 3. That said, it's also interesting to think about where Sumo Jo's coming from here. Yeah, Sumo Jo stepped in to challenge Wu when, if y'all remember, it was Steel Talon who ordered Uraki to go after Wu in episode 100. Jo interjecting himself, and then Talon's reaction of being like, interesting, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I wonder how Joe's feeling about everything with the tradition right now, too. He saw what happened with Wu, and he's been very quiet, guys. He's been so quiet.
Even more so than normal.
Entire time.
Even more so than normal.
Yeah, so it seems like Uraki stepped up, and, Talon has verbalized that Uraki is the leader, I guess, the commanding officer of the tradition, however you want to put it. So yeah, we're looking at a match that could be a main event on any Dub 3 event, 98 previous episodes, and also moving forward, but also anywhere in the world. These 2 guys are fantastic, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Wu-Fang here. If I'm not mistaken, Sumo Jo won both of those matches, correct?
He did.
Yeah, so it would be awesome if Wu-Fang could not only finally get his victory over Sumo Jo, but really score his first real victory for Dub 3 over the tradition.
Exactly.
So I guess maybe it's my feelings that are getting into this decision here, but I think Wu-Fang's going to win, mainly because I want to see him win, but he needs to earn our trust. That's for sure.
The should they main event argument that had come up earlier in the day. Frankly, for lack of a better way of saying it, I don't think they deserve it. They had their chance to main event another pay-per-view together months ago when Joe was the champion and Wu was the number 1 contender. But Wu was too busy and comfortable, or maybe afraid, to face Joe and decided to help him play keep away instead. And whether that was Talon's doing or not, as a competitor, you'd think Wu would have wanted to step up at that point. Well, Executioner broke through that great wall of Wu-Fang and took the title off Joe not once but twice. He deserves to be in the main event. Wu has finally woken up. It's great. It's wonderful. Well, now he gets to go up against Joe for the 3rd time. As we mentioned, the man who's beaten him twice. The man who very well was the reason he joined the tradition. The whole, can't beat them, join them. Well, 5 months of wearing a suit got you 0 titles, and you've pretty much lost everyone's respect in the locker room. And hey, I do thank Wu, because his decline did help elevate the heavyweight division. He's responsible for the rise of Executioner, Beast Sasori, Hannibal, Jojo,
Yeah.
even Jekyll. It's going to be a war on Saturday. Is it going to be the war that it was the first or second time they met each other? No. As Ryan had said, Joe is not the same Joe he used to be, really. And Talon sees it. I think Joe knows it. Wu definitely sees it, calling him a coward. Both of these men have something to prove to each other, but to themselves. I'm going with Joe.
I absolutely think that Wu is dialed in. Like, there's no doubt about this. I mean, if you go back and you watch any of those backstage segments, you could see it all stewing in Wu. The Wu stew, if you will. That he's getting more and more tired of Talon's bullshit. He's getting more and more tired of following these just blind orders. It's not working for him in any favor, as Nexus said. And you can see that at that moment, like, he gave him one. He gave him one when he started dropping his father's name. He's lucky that he got one.
Yes.
And so that shows you how much focus still exists in Wu. He hasn't lost that entirely. And now that he was left in the ring, after standing up for himself, after defying the rules and the orders of Talon and just saying this is bullshit, he is left in the middle of that ring. You should have finished the job, is what I'm saying to Talon and the tradition.
Yeah.
Because you have done the worst possible thing. You have now officially reawoken the reminder that Wu-Fang is nothing to be fucked with. And that is exactly what I think is going to be brought in at the 100. Because Wu-Fang, as you said, one of the best wrestler ever. That, you can lose yourself. You can be the greatest. You could be the mold. You could be the definition of professional wrestling, and you can still be human about it. You still have the times where you fall, because how else are you going to learn and evolve? You can't just win every single lesson. And this is probably the biggest fall, the biggest loss that Wu has ever done. It's bigger than any loss against Joe. It's bigger than any loss of his titles. It's bigger than anything that he considers an accomplishment, because he lost the one thing that is most important than anything, than any belt, himself. And now he is trying to get that back, and he knows what he's capable of. And now he knows that it is time for him to become that threat once again. And the biggest hurdle is in his way right now.
Literally, the biggest hurdle.
Biggest hurdle.
A fucking usurper is the hurdle. And he's going to do everything he can to fucking crumble it with those elbows. Because Wu's elbows is death.
Wu's elbows is death. Wu's elbows is God. Wu's elbows could carry him to victory.
I've been begging my Peridot captain to wake back up for months now. It's not gonna. A lot of people are gonna forgive him so quickly, and not necessarily forgiving.
No, they shouldn't either.
No, he definitely needs to do some soul searching still. One elbow does not an apology make.
No, it does not.
But one thing that we're talking about, and the fact that you're saying, they should have finished the job in the ring. Wu also took that shot knowing he wasn't walking out.
Yeah, there's no way. It was
He's
almost
not an
predetermined. Uraki, it felt like he threw that kick before his elbow landed.
And Wu knew that was going to happen. And he took the shot anyway. That's how far they pushed the man. That's how far going into and insulting his family. That's what that does. So there is still that Wu-Fang pride in him. He's not a completely different man. There is still part of him. But he is broken. He has slid down very far in the rankings, in the competition, and he's not just going to turn around, shake it off on Saturday, wake up and go, I'll just defeat the one guy I've never been able to beat in my life.
That's never the
like
option.
that.
It's never the option.
As much as I wish that was going to happen, to rally the troops and just storm like a fairy tale and take down the evildoer, I don't see that happening. I've gone through some dark times myself in the past, Big Dog, and I know you have too, and it doesn't shake off that easily.
No.
Wu-Fang's got a lot to work through, and that is exactly what Joe was counting on and why he's going, I'll do it. This is my bitch. He always has been. I'll put him down again. And then you will know that you don't tell me what to do, Talon. I tell you what I'm going to do. Period.
You bring up a good point, as you were saying that elbow connected and within. I mean, the kick was.
It's like a
light
tripwire.
speed, was a tripwire.
Rocky is poised at all times to defend Talon.
With that being said, do you think this was an experiment from Talon? Did Talon know he was eating that elbow?
Personally,
was this?
You want my speculation? I think Talon either thought that Wu would cow and break.
2 options.
Yep. He'd either have him broken finally,
or he was eating one. And that's okay because now he gets to ruin Wu's life.
Yeah,
more than he already was.
He turned his back to Wu.
Mm-hmm. Invitation.
Interesting.
And you know what? Can't help but notice, Joe did not touch Wu.
It's not his problem.
Nope. God, Talon is a piece of shit.
Alright, before we get to Bryce, this is going to be a little bit of a lightning round here, okay? I'm just going to go around the panel, and then I'm going to ask the entire panel a question, alright?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to start with you, Big Dog. Q seeks his 25th victory this Saturday. Who gets the 50 wins first? Kyush or the 2020-21 76ers?
Oh my god.
Sixers won 41 tonight, I think. It's their 41st victory.
Oh my god. I gotta, okay. I can't. It's gotta be the Sixers. But I say that with
I would hope it's the Sixers.
It has to be the Sixers.
Dog.
It has to be the Sixers.
I would hope. All right,
Good God.
Ledge.
Hey.
Give me one competitor from each division that you think will break out in the next 100.
Shit. Okay.
Come on.
I know I want to say Tommy, but he's just got to calm the fuck down. Okay. No, but I am going to go with Black Belt, actually.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Good.
He had a wild little junior singles run, and I think he can do something more with that if they leave Paco with Tommy. Try and calm him down. Maybe bring in the rest of the Critical Dojo. I don't know. Heavyweight division. Mega Meat
in the heavyweight.
Mega Meat's already like one of
I'd
our
be down
biggest
on
fan
that.
favorites, and I really think he makes some moves. And
Okay.
I feel like Dino might be agreeing with me.
All right.
You want tags or just extreme?
Go extreme next.
Okay. Okay.
That could be anybody,
It
really.
really could be anybody. I would love to. This is weird. I would really like to see David Harley start getting some wins.
That is weird, but
Not without my help. He's not getting it.
I would
am
just like
not
to see him
returning
turn
those
his
calls.
life around. Maybe a visit from an old friend in THC might help him out there.
it's very, very
That
possible.
would be great.
Yeah. And tag team division.
Yeah.
Fuck it, they're not my favorites. They're not even close to my favorites. But I kind of want to see Count and Grizz blow
typos
their
all the
way
way.
up that division. Yeah, they're in
Oos is
they're in
in
4 right now. Nexus.
Yes, Legend,
Yeah.
they are.
So it would be kind of cool. They've been one of our longest form teams in the whole company, and had like
They kick ass.
Yeah,
man.
they do.
They-
And when they can stay conscious, they're formidable.
And Maeve Delter loves those guys, but
He does.
Sometimes. It's been weird.
Most of the time.
All right, Dino. If the Dub 3 roster were flavors of ice cream, who would be the best sellers?
oh,
Give me like 3.
I was gonna say, well, in the past, it definitely would have been the chocolate Britkowski ice cream, like,
A
that would have
classic.
been just
Naturally.
completely packed full of fudge.
I feel like I have a picture
No.
for that. Hang on.
I think
Charles,
we
you
do.
do.
I think we do.
oh my God!
And then we could have had, let's see, what would have been another good one? Oh, our Critical Dojo blueberry swirl. Where
Yeah,
it's completely
That would be delicious.
delicious. Like, they just would have sold
Oh, it
so
was
much
a
packed full
Ladrillo
of
I
fudge
love
and
blueberries.
sprinkles.
Big
And,
blueberry.
Absolutely. And then I'd have to say in the senior citizens market, it would have to be the traditional vanilla.
Oh, hey, a
Whoa.
good vanilla bean. A good vanilla
Wow.
bean.
I do too.
A good vanilla bean.
Yeah.
It mixes really well with a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
Next, what's your favorite angle thus far in Dub 3 and why?
Ugh, he got
God
these.
damn. Oh, you got me good. It's so hard to pick.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of my top 3 favorite memories, and I can't even do that. And that's gonna be everyone's gonna have to answer that.
Fuck.
I always loved the idea of Mega Meat wanting to become a cruiserweight. Like, he was just so determined. Like,
He's gonna
he
get
would
that
want-
flip.
He's gonna get that. I believe that with everything in my heart, because he is. Every time I see him, he's in his little bed in front of the TV watching the tapes, and it's
Wiggling his
the
tail.
funniest thing in the world. Because as soon as you get in the room, his little head pokes up.
Oh my God! This is so
What you doing?
good.
You watching your tapes? Oh no. And I go to the fridge and I get him like a little treat and stuff.
Oh my God!
He's a good boy.
I'm not gonna be able to get that out of my mind.
To answer the question, I'm gonna have to say the really long running rise of dim sum.
Wow, and it's been a
Tell
long,
me more about this
long
rise.
wait.
All right, so when Drew, I believe he.
Oh, I'll join you on that one.
I don't. Damn it! God damn it! God damn it! So the first time dim sum flipped me off, that was just a random call that Drew made during a show. And I remember messaging Drew being like, what the fuck, that was amazing. Like, I'm gonna pick on this guy until the end of my days.
Yep.
And the fact that it got so big and it got so big, it got huge. Chat, yeah, I'm just going with it, man. It got so big, and that he just got thrown into the Britkowski, let's say, angle, where he was trying to help. He was trying to help elevate dim sum. He didn't have any ulterior motives. He just wanted to help out dim sum.
Nexus, please report to HR.
And how that turned into Dim just completely not trusting the company, the Dimspiracy,
Dimspiracy.
the fact that he's now running with the
Videos.
inmates. I'm a professional now. I refer to him as Dim Sum. He is just wonderful. The fact that he took over the Twitter, and that was so much fun to see. It's got to be Dim. It's got to be the whole everything about the beginning of Mustard Boy Dim to Bad Boy Dim. Beyond anything we could have ever imagined where it's at now.
We have a 8-man tag signed for this. The Tradition, Hikaru Shizuoka, Hatayama.
Well, the undercover agent, Richard Britkowski, of course. He's still on our side.
Richard Britkowski?
He's still on our side.
No.
No.
I think he's gone.
You notice he didn't say anything.
Those 4 men will be facing
He didn't antagonize anybody in that hall.
Dake
He didn't
Kim.
shit on Wu-Fang. He's watching.
Ming Chee, Kim Chee, and the returning Pushteka this Saturday at episode 100 in a 8-man tag elimination. And the only way the tradition signed up for this, no breaking up pins. This is
fuck
straight
off.
through.
Oh, it's a tradition.
Oh, good.
Traditional
trap.
8-man tag.
Interesting.
Last team standing wins. Every single member has to be eliminated for your team to win. I don't know if I like their chances, but Uraki, as just pointed out, Uraki is a specialist at not working well with others. He's not going to necessarily have to.
Not gonna necessarily have to.
Oh,
The family's back together, big dog. And not fighting with each other for the first time in history. Trust me, I know.
yes. It's going to be a intriguing match scenario where these guys, yes, they can tag in and out, but if they break up a pinfall in the ring, that very well could be an elimination. That's how serious this is being taken. And guess what? That is the only way. That is the only way the tradition accepted the match.
So we've seen the tradition and the Chee Dynasty have disagreements over the past few months or so, right? So at this point in time right now, hypothetically speaking, tradition presents a 4-man representation in an 8-man tag. Who beats this representation? The Chee Dynasty or Du Bois from September 2020?
The real motivated boys.
When they get motivated,
The motivated boys, the blood and steel boys.
Damn, I mean, it is the same 4 of the Chee Dynasty, being that Cousin K is on suspension right now. The same 4 that did drop that steel cage match at Blood and Steel to Du Bois. But at the same time, this Chee Dynasty doesn't have infighting right now. This Chee Dynasty just got their Rottweiler back. This Chee Dynasty has been pushed a lot farther than just the jealousy that Hannibal pushed Pushteka. That the coming back to get their vengeance that Bull Jameson and Bad Blood did. This is way more personal, and this is on the level of what Talon said to Wu-Fang about his father. Steel Talon ran Ming and Kim's father out of business as well. Yeah. This is just as personal as it is for Wu. And Pushteka just got back, and he's looking to rip someone apart with his teeth if he has to. He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a
fuck. I'd say the Chees right now are a lot more dangerous, a lot more unified, and a lot more motivated. You notice Tech didn't come back and try and go for that Extreme Division title. He went straight to defend his family.
Yep. You're right.
And that's the key difference. I think the Chee Dynasty, I don't think there's any stopping them right now. They're pissed, they're pushed too far, and they're not taking any of this shit anymore.
As they shouldn't. Fuck the tradition.
Fuck the tradition.
Yes, I do believe that Bryce is backstage, waiting ever so patiently, like a good professional does.
We have a tag team title match waiting on 100 on the horizon. It is official. Dim Sum and Super Boomer, the Asylum, seem to be running the establishment as they challenge for the tag team championships held by Blessed Brutality Alliance, Powder Keg, and Jekyll. And might I say, that field goal was good.
I mean,
I love this. Unconventional. I love it.
They're willing to put the
built-
title. Look at again the beautiful title graphics made by Full Metal. Thank you very, very much for that. It's all the titles are on the line. This feels like 100. It even without this match, it felt like 100. This is just more icing on the cake. This is one of those good corner pieces you look for. Man, they might have rushed into it though. We don't know how at what percentage Powder Keg's going to be at, because Boomer's put him down twice.
Knocked him out.
Twice.
Well, this is something that's been building over the course of the last few weeks. And you know what? I would go all in on Boomer and Dim Sum, who can make history as being the first EPW supplemental wrestler. We now have one in the top 5 in Fizz. But those two have a chance to undercut everyone and win the Dub 3 Tag Team Championships in a division that is nuts.
Yeah.
So being able to skip by all those teams and win the titles, that's very interesting. But Jekyll has been fucking shit up.
Yeah, he's been on another level.
I'm gonna say about 4 shows. He's going nice power bombing Dojo on the outside, leaving him for dead, right? He's in the top 5 now, and he's a tag team champion. And correct me if I'm wrong, the only other time that's happened was Blackheart or Shaman were tag champs and simultaneously in the top 5, if not both of them being in the top 5.
They definitely
at one
switched
point,
spots.
yeah.
They had to wrestle each other.
Yeah, so that says something in itself. And I think that Jekyll, what he has gotten in the ring for the past couple weeks, can make up for what Powder Keg hasn't experienced. But Powder Keg is such a hell of a competitor. This match is going to be fantastic. But yeah, I think we're going to have new tag team champions, though. I really like Super Boomer and Dim Sum's chances.
You want to talk about the history of W3. If there's one thing that Dim Sum may have learned from Brykowski, it's to take advantage of the emotional Blessed Brutality Alliance. Because you go back in time, Brykowski did a little bit of flirting with Gloria back in the day, which resulted in a very angry Jekyll and a very angry Powder Keg just abandoning their team and going after Brick. And Brick beat both of them.
Yes, he did.
So here we are now, however many episodes since that. And once again, the Blessed Brutality Alliance have shown that they're a bit too emotional, a bit too proud. This is not looking good for them. It's the numbers don't lie. The amount of wins that Dim and Boomer have over the Blessed Brutality Alliance, the mind games advantage, it's all with Dim and Boomer. I think it's gonna be Dim and Boomer's night, and oh boy, I'm sure the Uprising are thrilled that they are
Talk
not
about having a
getting that.
target on your back if you win.
You want
If you
Boomer
win.
and Dim better win those titles, because regardless, the Uprising are coming for them.
But you can't forget about Paco Loco and Black Belt, though.
They're fucking tearing it up.
They're number 1, right?
They are.
If they're always looking on the bright side.
Whoa.
I hope right now with Tommy.
They're trying to
I
find the
know.
bright side.
I
again.
would hate to have the target painted on me with the Uprising that close in contendership. That is Like, how angry can you make these monsters?
I feel like they thrive off that.
You are the tag team champions. Yes, the honor has been disrespected. Yes, the character has been insulted. And honestly, when it comes to those three, yes, they're on the same team. Yes, they're on the same side, but they're going to want to get their licks in as much as possible. And it's not a matter of sharing. It's a matter of staying in this match long enough for them to get their shots until they are satisfied. And honestly, I think that is going to count against them with this tag team title defense. And Boomer, that man has crushed people's spirits, broken people's backs, and has completely folded fools more than any junkyard press. And so honestly, I really think that the emotion is going to get in the way as much as the selfish reasons for every member of our tag team champions corner. And so I feel it's going to bite them in the ass, and we are going to get new gold holders at 100.
I'm saying, Big Dog, Dim Sum's a genius.
This all worked.
This has all come together. He's the one who busted the cell block open in the first place and brought in Super Boomer and Celine, the first ones to come over from EPW. And look how his luck has turned around since joining up with them. It's damn near unstoppable. And this is the most brilliant strategy, really, to goad BBA into putting the titles on the line, because a lot of Boomer and Dim's success comes from people not having seen enough of them to figure them out yet.
Yes.
The Dim comes in with the junior heavyweight division, the speed, and he's still, the hood rat clutch and the hood rat driver are incredibly effective.
He has that explosiveness.
Yes.
Not really off the top, but driving you through the mat.
Yes, and then a literal mountain gets tagged in.
Yes.
And just comes in and beats the shit out of some of the biggest guys we've had on our roster for the entire year, and then he comes in and dwarfs them.
He does a moonsault, too.
And how do you prepare for two completely different levels in the same fucking match? That a lot of their successes come from people don't know how to prepare for them yet. So they come in like a freight train, knock out fucking Powder Keg twice. The only time they've been stopped is by the Count, who sit at near the bottom of the top 5. Well, what the fuck would you go this way for when you can just piss off BBA enough and skip by them?
The target that if they win, and like you said,
Look at them digits,
this is the closest Dim Sum has been to gold in W3, and he did it without contendership.
All Bojo, all brains.
We're all in agreement here. Then we think Soup and Dim are going to.
I think it's I think it's
tag
here. I think it's a combination of this and the fact that Boomer is Boomer. Straight up.
Dim Sum better be careful though, because he's dealing with the cell block.
He's a bad boy, Alcatraz.
That okay.
I don't know though, but he brings up a good point. Celine and Boomer, different people. He's known them for what? A month and a half.
Interesting.
Since No Man's Land.
Yep. We have a lot of stuff to get to. This really feels like a beginning for us. Episode 100. That's fucking wild. This Saturday,
Or a
May
new
1st.
horizon, if you will.
On the horizon, a new horizon. Ooh, that's a nice little tagline. Let's get to work on it.